So we've spoken to the bosses of Credit Suisse's wealth management business about their investment strategies and about how they feel their services need to be structured in order to reflect the changing client base. But even more important is the next generation of private clients. The Young Investors Organization, of which Credit Suisse is a partner, has an annual summit where they discuss big picture trends. This year, it is being held here at the Via Miani in Rome. This is the 10th anniversary. We'll be talking to key members of this organisation about their views on wealth, business and investment 10 years on from the global financial crisis. I'm speaking to two very prominent members of the Young Investors Organisation. Louise Hutterstein, you're a professional entrepreneur, you're an investment company boss, but you joined the Young Investors Organisation at the age of 18. Was there this key moment, this sea change, where you actually thought, I'm not sure whether I can work with my parents' business anymore, that I want to start my own business and go it alone?
I always loved the hospitality industry and real estate. I'm definitely a sort of hospitality person at heart. Making people happy makes me really happy, and that my parents instilled that in me. But I've always had other outside interests as well. And sometimes the real estate industry, especially during a downturn like the world financial crisis, can give you a little bit of extra time. And so I pursued some other interests as well in different verticals. And that's when I started my investment company to invest in early stage companies that were going to change the world in ways that I knew I myself couldn't do personally, but passionate people who really were going to change the world in a great way. And that's where my love for impact investing really started. And it was definitely fostered with great people like Fernando through long discussions about how we think we should be able to do well and do good and not just create wealth to then give it away later.
Fernando, you're a passionate advocate of impact investing, and some of your colleagues describe you as the go-to man for impact investing. What's your view? Can this discipline actually be more profitable in terms of rates of return than the traditional investments?
I absolutely think it can. When you consider that I put my financial return on one side and the social or environmental return on the other one, it really becomes a double return type of investment, right? And for families especially, this is a very attractive model because we have a mandate, in a sense, to think generationally. I'm thinking of the grandchildren that I will have without even being married now. We don't think quarterly. We don't have that pressure to deliver the immediate results. So yeah, it can absolutely be a more profitable way of investing.
Although there's good prospects for your grandchildren because you have colleagues here who've met lifetime partners in the organisation, yeah, exactly, and producing the next generation of the Young Investor Organisation.
Exactly. Yeah, there's the social capital as well, the social return in a sense of the YIO is people really do get together, and we have a couple of marriages and we already have the next generation coming.
So there's 3 different dividends we're talking about here.
Yeah, 100%.
So if I come back to Louise on that, from what Fernando is saying, it appears that private banks are playing a very different role today than they did maybe 20 years ago when they were considered to be staid institutions obsessed with secrecy, this white glove service. You've grown up in Switzerland. Have you seen that role change quite significantly?
Yes, the time of the Swiss banker sort of in the Bond movies is definitely no longer existent. But I think it's the right thing. I mean, being in Switzerland quite a lot and seeing Swiss banking institutions, there is this air of legacy. And I think that makes them perfectly poised to help people like us who, as Fernando says, 100% focused on legacy, not just maintaining what our parents created, but also creating something for our own children. And the interesting thing is that they're now taking serious notice of the tech side of things, and it doesn't make sense that you should be able to go to a smaller institution that doesn't have that legacy and do things a lot easier. And so the bigger institutions like Credit Suisse are really taking notice of that now, and that's something that excites me a lot. When I first started investing, I looked a lot into fintech. I've moved away from it now. It's not really, I realize it's not my forte, but it's definitely something that banks need to seriously consider, and Credit Suisse has been doing that in a big way.
I really want to see where my money is going. I want to see what kind of consequences my money is having when it's being deployed. Right? My father, he likes that kind of questions as well. I mean, that's not the point, but he wants the financial return. First, I want to see them side by side.